Good morning. I'm just off on my weekly walk again. Like I did 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went to Honeybourne station. I'm doing the same again, but this time I'm going to walk back via Dover's Hill, which is about a mile northwest of Chipping Camden. I'll get back to you shortly. Morning, just arrived at Honeybourne station, about to leave now for Evesham via Dover's Hill. It's about 14.5 mile walk, and it climbs up over 750 feet above sea level. And I'll explain more about Dover's Hill when I get nearer there. Just about to leave now. Take care. Bye. Yeah, a little bit about Honeybourne. Split into two halves, or what used to be. It used to be called, to my right was Cow Honeybourne, and it's got a church, which is now split into two homes. And to my left, which is the side I'm on now, is classed as Church Honeybourne. There's two pubs. Cow Honeybourne side is the Thatched Tavern, which just have a quick look at my notes. It's a 13th century building, still thatched. And on the Church Honeybourne side, we've got the Gate Inn. That's a much newer pub, that one. There's also the 13th century Grade 1 listed St Egwin's Church. That one is still in operation. That's obviously on the Church Honeybourne side. The two were amalgamated, Church Honeybourne, Cow Honeybourne, in 1958. There's also another story here. What was the date? 2015, sorry, so fairly recent. At the Railway Club. It was flooded out basically. A squirrel got in there, and I presume he'd bitten through the pipes on one of the beer barrels, and it flooded the club. Apparently the squirrel, how true this is I don't know. The squirrel got drunk, went on a bit of a rampage, smashing glasses and bottles everywhere. It caused quite a bit of damage actually, so I suppose you asking me locally, you probably find out about that. Okay, the footpath takes us through the grounds of St Egwin's Church now. As I said, it was a Grade 1 13th century church. Lovely looking building, really is, if you're into architecture. You can see the aging of the sandstone really wearing down on it. Okay, I'm heading for the stile in front of me and go across 2 or 3 fields to the old Gloucestershire-Warwickshire railway track, which I'll cross straight over that today instead of walking along it, and head for the hills in the distance. I don't know if you can see in the foreground or not, it's not the best camera for distance. Dover's Hill is up there, and that's obviously the direction I'm heading in. I'm just come up to the point now where I'm going to cross the old Gloucestershire-Warwickshire railway line. We will cross it again later on in the day on the way back from Dover's Hill. There's the bed of the old railway track. I must find out about this, I do believe they are trying to open it again. So walking across fields towards Aston Subbage, a small village, well hamlet really, at the foot of Dover's Hill. That's before we start climbing up. If you can see where my finger's pointing at is up the top of Dover's Hill there. I'll keep heading for that. Past a small lake or pond, a couple here actually, a couple of swans on there. Okay, just walking down a farm drive now to the western subbage to Mickleton Road, where we'll do a turn right then directly left across a little bridge and start heading up through the woods till we come about halfway up the bank between Aston Subbage and Chipping Camden. We'll cross over there and straight up onto Dover's Hill. I've been wanting to do this walk for some time now. At the top of Dover's Hill, it takes in a bit of the Cotswold Way as well. But I'll turn off that as it heads towards Broadway. I'll be going down to Willersey. Not much else to say about it at the moment, so I'll come back shortly. A bit more about Aston Subbage. So it's a small, very small village. Population of 107 people. Aston Subbage has a population of 107 people, and that was in the 2011 census. And St Andrew's Church there, still in operation, built in 1797. And it's basically right on the border of Gloucestershire and Worcestershire. I started climbing up the hill now. I'll come back to you in a bit when we get near the top. Right ahead of me is Dover's Hill. As we get to the top, to the trig point, there'll be some information up there as well about the Olympics. I shall come back to you about that in a minute. To my left, about half a mile, is up there Chipping Camden, and down right at the bottom of the hill now, Aston Subbage. Over to straight in front of you there, that's the Vale of Evesham. Let's get to the top so we can get a better video of it for you. Just coming up onto Dover's Hill now. When we get to the very top of the trig point, I'll come back. The Vale of Evesham down there. All around. Hills in the distance. The Malverns over there. Ring Hill in front. Over the Shropshire Hills straight across there. We're just up on the top of Dover's Hill now. Just heading over towards the trig point. You see just down here in front of me is like a natural amphitheatre. So imagine this is where the Olympic Games took place. The games I'm talking about is the precursor of the modern day Olympics. These started at, I think, around about 1612 and were discontinued in 1852. Revived again in that's these games here, and then revived again in 1963. And they used to have some obscure games, tug of war, shin kicking, to name but two. I'm sure if you went on Wikipedia or Googled it, you'll get a heck of a lot more information about it. There is quite a lot to read about it. And the hill was named after a local man called Robert Dover. He is the guy that actually started these games up here. So you can probably thank some of the modern day Olympics for what we've got here. And there's a trig point. There's quite a lot of rabbits up here at the moment, just popping their heads out the holes. And this point here you can see where all the different hills are. Birmingham that way, Pebworth over there, Ulster, Church Honeybourne, the Clent Hills over there, Brainclea Hill straight across there, Titterstone Clee is over there, Worcester, Evesham is over that direction. If you're able to read that and you pause the video, you'll see where the different ones go. If you can read it, very, very difficult to read from here. Let's see how we get on with that. Next village I'll be coming to will be Saintbury. Well, it's more of a hamlet actually. It's got a grade 1 Very unlisted 13th century church, St Nicholas, mentioned back in the Domesday Book, and of 2011 census there was 83 residents living here, so excuse me, you can see how small it actually is. Still coming down the hill at the moment. Shortly be arriving in Saintbury. Still got the beautiful views ahead of me. I'll tell you, I could sit here all day just looking at this. It's absolutely beautiful. Makes me wonder why people sit on beaches in Spain when you can just sit here and look at this. I know which I prefer personally, but yeah, that's my choice. Just soaring about there, absolutely gorgeous. It's just gone out of view a bit now. See Saintbury Church just behind the trees there, and this is a little hamlet of Saintbury. Not a lot, so there's 80 odd people lived here anyway in 2011. Heading on down towards Willersey now. I'll come back to you shortly. Okay, we come up to the village of Willersey now. Once used to be the property of Evesham Abbey. Most of the properties here are made of Cotswold stone. So in front of me there you can see the Church of St Peter, 12th century Grade 1 listed building, enlarged in the 14th and 15th centuries. In the middle of the village you've got the Bell Inn. Opposite that you have the duck pond, which you've probably seen in many photos of the Cotswolds in books, etc. Also here is a home of auto sleepers. These make motorhomes, handcrafted, top quality. As I said in the previous video, my next door neighbours worked there for years. Furniture maker for all the auto sleepers. So if you're ever in the market for a second-hand motorhome, I would definitely recommend one. They are top quality. And one more point here, there was no electric in the village until 1935. So about 4 years after that they started having problems again with the Second World War, I'd imagine. But yeah, 1935. Okay, I've just crossed the Willersey to Mickleton Road again. Second time today, I think. I'm heading now back down towards the railway track, the disused Gloucestershire Warwickshire railway track. Across that, and then heading across towards Badsey. I've just crossed the old railway track. You still see Saintbury in the background, and the hill just about visible. Just come across this field, probably corn or something they're growing now, and heading. We'll come out to the side of Bretfordton, then on to Badsey. Now we're heading, just gone through the edge of Bretfordton now, and heading down towards Pear Tree Cottage. It's near Badsey, or Pear Tree Corner, I think it is. Pear Tree Corner. shot of the Cotswold Hills in the background. Quite beautiful at the moment. Carry on to Pear Tree Corner. I just turned right at Pear Tree Corner. Heading down the lane now towards Badsey. I'll come back to you when I get on the outskirts of Badsey. Yeah, we're just on the edge of Badsey now. I mentioned something about it in my last film. It basically mentioned the Doomsday Book. Still got a first school, shop, post office, 2 pubs, the Wheat Sheaf and the Round of Grass, named after the asparagus grown all over the Vale. In the 1911 census, 80% of households in Badsey were market gardeners. They still got a church, St James's, Grade 2 listed, built in the 12th century, rebuilt in the 13th century, extended in the 14th and 15th century, I think the same as Willesey was. And their claim to fame when their resident was born here was Alistair McGowan, impressionist and comedian. Ahead of me, an old manor house. I think it's 15th century. Not sure, something I have to check on. Coming up towards Monk's Walk in Badsey, in the outskirts of Badsey now. Going back to Evesham, I think I explained about this in the last video anyway, Monk's Walk. So over here, Ashdown Farm. I explained that last week. It's the Second World War reenactment camp. And in June each year they'll have a whole weekend of it. Always field on me right here, and this one here as well. You're full up with stands, stalls, reenactments going on. Really good week. Just getting back into Evesham now. Time I get home in about 14 miles. It's been a lovely day. I'm not sure how good the video will be when I upload it. I've had a lot of battery issues today and wind noise. The battery's been the worst problem, so I'll get sorted out. Okay, thanks for watching.